If you've been living under a rock, SpongeBob is one of the most memed cartoons in existence. It all started with the classic PNGs, and then it moved on to the YouTube poops, and then it evolved into the games and animations we all know and love. But today marks a new era of SpongeBob content, the AI SpongeBob arc. From broken streams to some, not gonna lie, some pretty half-decent SpongeBob covers, this AI content has been getting crazier by the day. And there is one creator that seems to be rising above the rest. And he is the one creator who has stepped up to make the best AI SpongeBob content the world has ever seen. Killer like my motherfucking houses. The guy who made this goes by the name Glorb, and this guy, in under a year, has raked in over 100 million views. Remember, this guy, no one even knows who this guy is. He just popped out of nowhere with those kind of numbers. And for a nobody, he's created some banger tracks, some pretty fire animations, and honestly pretty consistent, like relatively consistent. More than me, that's for sure. You know, it really does make you wonder who this guy is. And that's the thing, no one knows. You see, Glorb has managed to keep his identity completely hidden from the masses, leaving a lot to speculate on who this guy really is. But after spending hours and hours of digging, I think I know our guy. So grab your shovels and grab your pickaxes, folks, because today we're going down a bit of a rabbit hole. You've probably seen that everyone thinks that Glorb is this other music artist, Yeet. And if you look into who Yeet is, he is clearly a very successful music artist, like very successful. And if you just do some surface level research on this guy, like, I mean, hey, he's in his 20s, so definitely falls in line with being a guy who would know who SpongeBob is. Not to mention, even Glorb's profile picture looks like him if you just asked AI to generate what Yeet would look like. Shit, what the fuck? It's so accurate. So really looking at the surface of this, he definitely seems like a prime suspect. You see, people think that Glorb is a whole nother ghostwriter situation. If you know who ghostwriter is, you know, the guy who made that AI Drake / Weekend song and, you know, got every music studio angry, and it turned out it was by this guy named Jake. So people think that Glorb is a whole nother ghostwriter situation where you have a big artist coming in and just being anonymous behind this other different name. And not to mention, a very cheeky thing by Glorb is that he kind of references and hints that he might be Yeet in a music video. Play right here, play right here, play. A very important tool that I've been using for this investigation is using Genius. I know, Genius, we know the cringe little musical lyrics videos that they do, but Genius is literally the hub of understanding where music artists are doing their work and seeing who's credited on what. So of course, I gotta take a little gander over there. And to my surprise, Glorb happens to have himself all his tracks on there with all the credits. And if you take a look at the Genius, almost more than half the songs he's produced himself, which is pretty sick, actually. Congrats to you, Glorb, for being a good producer. And not to mention, whatever songs that he didn't produce, most likely were just bought beats. So I scrolled through some of his tracks just to get an idea of who these producers that he reached out to for the music, and seeing that a lot of them were Russian, which was interesting. I didn't expect all these producers to be Russian. And looking at some interviews that Yeet had been on, apparently he has confirmed that he's half Romanian and half Mexican, and Romania is around Russia. I mean, I know they hate each other, but like maybe there's some ties there, who knows? And with that little bit of, I guess, ethnical connection, I guess I'll add a half a point to the Yeet might be Glorb theory. But honestly, as I kept scrolling, I kind of was losing interest. I was like, I don't even know who half these producers are. They're just some small names that really don't really ring any bells. Until I stopped at one of the songs named Eugene. Juice WRLD, The Weeknd, Don Toliver, Lil Uzi Vert, The Kid Laroi, Lil Tecca, Ian Dior, NLE Choppa, Internet Money. This guy has produced music for all of these names. Okay, hold on one second. So you're telling me that this producer has produced a funny haha AI SpongeBob rap as well as producing for all of these? Who in the world is this guy? So looking up his name, it's clear that he's a pretty big time producer. By doing a little extra digging, you can find out that he actually is a YouTuber on top of being a big producer, which is kind of interesting. And interestingly enough, while looking through his content, he has some pretty interesting guests appear. You know, maybe someone like Yeet's producers. We might need to throw a point up there with the Yeet corner. But seeing that this guy, Cody, has worked with Yeet's producers, it got me pretty excited, I must say. So far we got two very interesting names that are on the bracket so far. And just to refresh, we have Yeet over here in the Yeet corner with 1/2 point, and then we have Cody over here in the Cody corner with about, I would say, a solid 1 point, like a very solid 1 point. You see, though, there's one last thing I didn't tell you about Cody. Apparently, Cody didn't just produce just one SpongeBob track. No, this is actually his second. Yeah, in fact, Eugene is his second, I repeat that, second SpongeBob track that he's ever produced. A different song on a different channel called Cash Crab Records. So now there's another channel making AI SpongeBob music? Okay, well, not exactly AI. Sorry, didn't mean to scam you there. My bad, it's in my blood, I'm Indian, what can I say? Cash Crab Records is definitely a SpongeBob music making factory, but none of the songs are actually produced with AI vocals in mind. The vocals are actually just impressions by another producer slash content creator slash streamer, AO Oddwin. So I guess now you can put him onto the board, the CoffeeZilla type suspect board, because goddamn, now we have too many people to talk about in this investigation. But I have one issue when it comes to Cody being the suspect. Because if he's Glorb, why would he only credit himself for one song? Because every song is treated as if Glorb is a separate person. Glorb is credited for every song in each list. So why would he separate himself for one song? So honestly, I think that takes a good case away from Cody actually being Glorb. So I guess we could take him off the list. I would say, I would put a nice little... Oh! And honestly, after eliminating Cody, there really isn't a lot to work out of. Like, I hit pretty much a wall. Like, I did more research on AO Oddwin. I can't find anything else on this guy besides him being a streamer and another producer. Like, there's no real sign that he might be behind this channel. And like, if you keep looking, like even Yeet,
I don't really know that many memes.
There's like not a lot of stuff to work out of. So like, I feel like I just completely debunked my one good suspect. The one guy I had who seemed like the smoking gun is not even it. I'm gonna take a breather. I'll be right back. There's gotta be something I'm missing.
Are you talking about Glorb? No, like actually good.
I will never watch SpongeBob the same again.
This motherfucker got them fake cheese!
Wait a second. I guess I'll just listen to some music.
Kept it moving, let my nuts hang. Blade go back and forth to south and north, I know them cuts stay.
No way.
SpongeBob got the formula, that boy be creeping every day. Plankton is the up we took his out, we took his eye away.
It's the same beat. So the song in question is called FTB by I Am Jake Hill, or should I say, fuck that bitch. Now, Jake Hill is another successful music artist who, in fact, has made rap music and also experiments a lot with his tracks. He really enjoys mixing different genres of music, like rap and metal, which honestly goes pretty hard if you've never heard of it before. Now, when it comes to the beat in question, it's really not uncommon for, music artists to buy beats off of different producers. It's pretty common practice, but it still raised some suspicions in me. So I decided to go to my tried and true website, genius.com, and read through the list of producers for the song The Formula. Again, I'm not a music producer by any means, so I don't know that much, but using what knowledge I have as a big brain, small PP YouTuber, I understand that when you buy or license songs from these websites or whatnot, sometimes you get access to the stems, as they call it, which is essentially all the aspects of the music. So the bass, the drums, the strings, all that. And they all come separated on each layer for you to play around with. If you listen back to the original beat from Tommy, you can hear that it sounds a little bit slower, around 142 BPM as I measured it. And if you listen to The Formula and FTB, they are both exactly 159 beats per minute, which is very interesting. What this means is that both Glorb and I Am Jake Hill have the same exact adjustments to the same beat. And as we said before, the beat originally is 142. But okay, I'll play devil's advocate in my own argument. Maybe Tommy sold the same beat at the same speed to both Glorb and Jake Hill. And somehow maybe it's just not publicly available online. I mean, you could check on a different website that he sells his beats on that there is a different version version of Shooter at 144 BPM. So could be the same beat that he just readjusted for both of them. But say it with me now, guys. Come on, you know at this point, I decided to dig deeper. Yeah! But let's do some little digging on Jake Hill now, because I want to see who he is as a person. And coincidentally, one of my good old friends is a big fan of Jake Hill, and he tipped me off on a few interesting things about Jake. First off, Jake Hill apparently is a bit of a goofy goober, if I must say. Like, looking at his recent vlog, you could tell this guy doesn't take anything seriously. Like, you know, look at him, he's a little kind of cute, actually. Look at that cute thumbnail. He's also been known for having different channels for different kind of music. One old channel that I found about him was called Little Trash, and he ran this channel, and if you look at the songs that, you know, he was making on there, is pretty much just meme music. But more recently, he runs by a different name. Now, you may have heard of this, and he goes by the name of Dixon Dallas. Now, this other persona actually got really popular on TikTok with this very totally innocent, normal sounding country song that went viral.
He's bouncing off my booty cheeks. I love the way he rides.
Okay, but Medz, what exactly are you trying to get at? You're just rambling about random things? Or shut the fuck up, Joe. You could be fucking interrupting me. Now, remember how I said that Glorb produced half of his songs? Wouldn't it surprise you that one of the songs that he did produce was a country song, better known as Can Gangsters Cry? Now, one important thing to see is that that song was fully produced by Glorb. So everything you hear, the vocals, the lyrics, the beat, the guitar, are all produced by Glorb himself. He didn't buy this beat. He made it in-house. It's fresh off the press in his own cooked up studio. Now, what if we went back to our suspect list over here? You know, our nice little list, okay? We have Yeet, and then we have A.O. Oddwin. I guess Cody, he's still there. He's just been defiled and beaten up and crossed a lot. And doing all the research I could, there is no evidence that either of these people actually know how to play guitar, except for Jake. And do you also remember how I said that Jake Hill is, you know, experimenting with his music? Because Jake Hill has some pretty decent range when it comes to his songs. Like, this guy has done rock, rap, country, even like sad songs. Now, if we look at how Jake has made those kind of songs, what if we quickly look at the songs that Glorb has made and his wide variety of music? Would you look at that? Glorb has produced rap, sad, and country songs. But laying out all this evidence that Jake Hill is most likely Glorb, why would he do it? Why does he need to do it? Here's my theory. My music theory, guys. Okay, MatPat's gone. I gotta fill the void somehow. As I mentioned before, Jake Hill pretty much is Dixon Dallas. But an interesting side project that Jake has is called You're Pretty. Now, this is apparently a umbrella kind of thing that encompasses his other character, aka Dixon Dallas, which that's what it is, another character that he plays. But then why not just have Dixon Dallas stand alone? Well, what if You're Pretty is meant to be an umbrella of different characters that Jake Hill can sing as? Like, think about it. He has a bunch of different characters that he can perform on stage live that everyone will recognize him as Jake Hill, but still as the other characters that he wants to sing. Because Jake Hill is so interested in different kinds of music with different personas, he can perform all those kinds of music. He does rap and kind of sad songs as his Jake Hill persona. Then he has Dixon Dallas, which he can do country. And if by chance that he is actually Glorb, he just opened a whole new world of music that he can do, which is AI enhanced music. I think the perfect example of who this guy is emulating is Jeff Dunham. If you don't know who Jeff Dunham is, he's a comedian that has a bunch of different puppets that he tours around with and just plays the characters and acts with them on stage, makes jokes with them. That's his entire stand-up bit, and it's hilarious.
Silence! I kill you!
Imagine that, but with music. Now that's a big brain move. You know, past Medz, that really would be a big brain move. If it wasn't wrong. You see, it just so happens that Glorb had an exclusive interview with our favorite short king in the whole wide world, Mr. Moist. And the minute this interview dropped, the Redditors kicked it into high gear, and let's just say, we might have a new suspect on our hands, and the evidence is looking pretty juicy. Our new suspect goes by the name YNG Martyr, a Australian-based music artist that is blown up on TikTok with songs like Nike Ticks and Ease Off. YNG Martyr posts a bunch of TikToks on his page of him just limp-syncing to his music and obviously just promoting the tracks he's made. So, you know, typical independent artist shenanigans. So nothing big, right? No biggie here? Well, it wasn't until Reddit decided to come on in and find a few key similarities between Glorb and YNG Martyr, and we're not just talking about the music. So if you were to go back back and watch that Glorb interview, some people found a few key similarities in the background. YNG Martyr has the same foam panels on the walls, the same microphone, the same couch, and even the same goddamn pillow as Glorb. People have also taken note that when Glorb raps on his tracks, apparently he has a small Australian accent. I don't know, personally, I don't hear it. The only thing I know about Australia is bloomin' onions. But if people are hearing this and that YNG Martyr is, well, Australian, not a crazy assumption to make. Even YNG Martyr's like recent song Guapanese has a very similar editing style to Glorb, and of course, this famous bar that he said, "I got two acts like I'm Miley C." Which, if you need me to spell it out for you, he's basically saying, oh yeah, Miley Cyrus, Hannah Montana, YNG Martyr, you fill in the blank. Okay, with all that in mind, I think it's about time we start putting these pieces together and finally answer the question once and for all, who is Glorb? Well, for starters, it definitely wouldn't be Yeet. I mean, sorry, Yeet believers, but I mean, come on, like, did you really think he was Glorb? The man doesn't know anything besides music.
I never watched the movie before. I don't really watch reality TV. I don't really know that many memes. I only really watching YouTube.
We can also firmly cross out A.O. Oddwin from the list because Glorb, during the interview, had mentioned A.O. Oddwin by name as a separate person. Can't really be Glorb if he's already mentioning A.O. Oddwin as a separate guy. So definitely not him. And as I mentioned before, Cody likely isn't it either since he was only credited for one song separately from Glorb. So that leaves us with only two key suspects, Jake Hill and YNG Martyr. Now, as we just discussed, there is a lot of evidence to say that Glorb is YNG Martyr, and not a lot of evidence to support that Jake Hill could be Glorb, besides that one single track that shared the same beat. So is it an open and shut case that YNG Martyr is Glorb? Yes, it's an open and shut case. I think it's pretty clear that he is Glorb, but why go on this interview and be in the room where you also record your TikToks? Like, come on, it's very clear that Glorb understands the internet. If you leave just enough breadcrumbs, the internet will eventually figure it out. I mean, he's even said it in the interview.
I've definitely left little breadcrumbs that might lead you to who I really am, if that helps.
He has left breadcrumbs throughout his music to slowly hint on who he might be. But to then go on an interview and literally drop a whole ass slice of bread to tell the internet, yeah, I am this guy, I am YNG Martyr, is a bit of a weird move, don't you think? Almost deliberate. Like he even mentioned in the interview, like as if he knew people were gonna find out, which they did. Why leave such big hints in this interview? Well, the obvious answer would be that he just wanted to shout out his main artist persona in a very creative way, but I think there's a bit more nuance to this. If you were to go back to the Glorb interview, you'll see that the original music of Glorb was meant to be more of an in-joke between his friends.
It also came a lot from boredom, you know. This whole thing kind of started as a bit of an in-joke with me and the homies, and from there people started to really pay attention, and yeah, it started out as a joke and then very quickly started to heat up.
Which is most likely why he even tagged his socials as GlorbWorldwide, as he's working with multiple producers and music artists across the globe. Now, Jake Hill is from the United States, while YNG Martyr is from Australia. So to fit that theme of the GlorbWorldwide persona, what if Jake was in that initial group of homies? And if we were to take it a step further, what if I am Jake Hill and YNG Martyr are both Glorb? Like, seriously, if you look at the evidence, it would actually close a lot of loose ends. Jake Hill could have been the one to play the guitar in Can Gangsters Cry, since he has experience making goofy country songs with his persona Dixon Dallas. The Formula was the first song produced by Glorb. So what if Jake Hill was in the room with YNG when they made that song, liking the beat so much that he decided to spin it off into his own song? Jake Hill also has experience with performing live on stage and could collaborate with YNG to create live shows of Glorb, especially because Glorb mentioned it in the interview that he would want to do live performances, or, well, teasing it at least.
I don't want to go too much into detail, but all I can say in regards to live shows is keep your eyes peeled. Something's coming.
If you look at Jake Hill's Instagram, he follows YNG Martyr. And if we add an extra layer to that, he also follows Cody. And Cody follows Jake Hill, which means they most likely are boys with each other. This could explain how YNG got in contact with Cody because, well, they're mutuals with Jake Hill. Dude, even Cody could have been in that initial circle of homies that made the first few tracks. Not gonna feel bad for doing Cody dirty throughout this video. My bad, homie. I love you. No hard feelings. You cute. we should kiss sometime. And if Jake Hill is a part of Glorb, it would also explain why there were so many big clues dropped about YNG Martyr being Glorb. Because literally while researching this, I came across so many comments of people saying if Jake Hill was Glorb. I'm not the only one thinking this. I'm not crazy. I'm crazy enough to research all of this, but I'm not that crazy to think that, at least. So by making YNG Martyr the scapegoat for all this and pretty much the face of Glorb, that means Jake is more likely able to keep his anonymity behind his involvement with Glorb. Now, the actual reason why, I couldn't really tell you. Maybe it's because he wants to let YNG Martyr take the fame and the attention for Glorb, considering that he is a smaller artist compared to Jake Hill, or Jake Hill is the ace up the Glorb's bomber jacket sleeve for an ultimate bigger surprise, more intense and crazy than YNG Martyr being known as Glorb. At the end of the day, there are a lot of clues pointing towards YNG Martyr and Jake Hill being the two big players behind Glorb. Perhaps YNG Martyr is more or less the front-facing figure of Glorb, while Jake Hill is more of the back-end figure, working on mainly the concerts, pulling all the talent together, and helping Glorb continue to scale. So if you think about it, Jake Hill is kind of like P. Diddy. Minus the B of his probably some more. Okay, maybe not like P. Diddy, but you get my point. But let me know your thoughts. Do you think I'm right? Am I overthinking this way too much? Or potentially, did I get something wrong? Let me know down below in the comments. It's open. There's probably not a lot of comments there, so probably do it. Let me know. But for now, it is time for me to make my leave and return back to my people. If you enjoyed this, subscribe, and I will see you all later. Oh boy, I love this part. Oh boy, oh gosh, I'm a green alien. Oh no, guys, you saw my true disguise. I'm about to go up to space. Please subscribe.